What is up, you guys? Welcome to Twisted Terrors. I'm your host, Zomboy, and today we're going to be talking about 1982's The Thing. This one's rated R. It's an hour 49 minutes. I'm just going to spoil it right now. I absolutely love this movie. It's one of my favorites. IMDb agrees with me. It's an 8.2 out of 10. Letterboxd has this rated 4.4 out of 5. This is a remake of 1951's The Thing from Another World. It's directed by John Carpenter. Fun fact on this one, originally Universal chose Texas Chainsaw Massacre's 1974 Tobe Hooper to direct this because they had him under contract. The producers were ultimately unhappy with Hooper and his writing partner Kim Henkel's concept. So the project was put on hold until they got a hold of John Carpenter. Also, another fun fact on this, some unused music for The Thing was later used in Quentin Tarantino's movie The Hateful Eight in 2015. I love this movie. The plot is it's a U.S. research station in Antarctica. These guys are studying up in Antarctica, and they suddenly have a helicopter buzzing them, going over their station, shooting at a dog. They land a helicopter that they're flying, and they end up shooting one of the guys from the U.S. station. They shoot back and kill him, and then one of the guys drops a grenade and blows up the entire helicopter. So they take this dog in. A couple of the team end up flying a helicopter up to the Norwegian station where this other helicopter was from, and they find out pretty much everyone's dead there or missing. Everything's frozen, so they can tell the heat's been turned off for a while. And what they do find is they find a burnt body of some sort, and they end up making the decision to take this back to their research station. They're doing research on this body, and one of the doctors, so the team, you got MacReady. He is played by Kurt Russell. You'll know him from a ton of movies, but some of my favorite, you got Bone Tomahawk and Death Proof. You got Blair. He's played by Winford Brimley, most knownly for Cocoon. Childs is Keith David. You'll know him from a lot of movies, but I think one of the most popular ones is They Live. Clark, Knowles, Palmer, Dr. Cooper, Norris, Bennington, and Gary. That's the U.S. team. They're researching this body, and they find out basically it's an alien that can turn itself into anything it wants. It can assimilate anything. So you have the dog they're chasing, which ends up to also be one of these aliens that basically starts killing all the dogs there. And basically they're stuck in a storm in the middle of Antarctica. There's no way out. They can't fly out because of the storm. And they don't know who is the alien and who's not. So they've pretty much figured out that this thing can consume you, and then it turns into you, a perfect replica of whoever it turns into. So if it consumes a dog, it turns into a dog. If it consumes a human, it turns into that person. So the whole movie is this cold, claustrophobic, no one trusts anyone anymore.
Nobody trusts anybody now.
In the beginning, you know, it showed how close everyone's friendship was, and they were this tight family. Midway through the movie, it's not like that anymore. You got some guys breaking down and shooting guns at their own teammates.
Come on, man. You don't want to hurt anybody.
I'll kill you!
Did that guy just throw a gun? Because they just think everyone's an alien. You have people acting weird. Some people don't trust other people. You get this really sense of distrust and basically an unconnection of this family, that no one knows who the alien is anymore. They did a great job on feeling claustrophobic and the feeling of just not being able to get out in this movie. You could just tell how cold it is. It's dark, it's eerie. The special effects in this movie are absolutely unreal. I mean, to this day, I go back and watch this movie and they are top notch and they hold up. They are some of the best practical effects I think I've ever seen. And I mean, to this day, people are not doing practical effects, I don't think, as well. I mean, some of the scenes where you have the alien transforming into something else are just absolutely disgusting, gory, gooey, grimy. I mean, it is fantastic. So they find out basically the only way is to burn them. So you got them, they got the flamethrowers, they're burning the monsters basically. And later on they find out that, you know, they're storing them all in this room, all the burnt remains, and they find out the doctor has realized that these remains are not dead. They're just kind of dormant.
There is still cellular activity in these burned remains. They're not dead yet.
It's an absolute mess, and at the end they're destroying the entire base. There's not much left. Everything is on fire. It's the middle of the night, it's cold, and you got Kurt Russell's character MacReady. He's basically thinks he's the last one left until Childs shows up. Childs shows up out of nowhere, and you can tell right off the bat neither one of them trust each other. You know, this was the end of the movie. They basically have a conversation and they sit down and they just start drinking liquor out of a bottle and trying to decide if each other is the alien or not. And you can tell MacReady just pretty much is like, well, we're gonna freeze and die. So they drink and just sit there. And you know, it's always been one of those endings of the movie where I've always been like, oh, the director, they left it up to my imagination. You know, I never knew who was the alien or not. And then I had heard an interview with John Carpenter one time, and he says, no, I made it very clear in the end of that movie who was an alien and who was not. And it wasn't until I rewatched it after that, and he said one of them has steam coming out because it's so cold, he's got all that frost coming in his mouth, and the other one does not, which shows he's not real. And I went back and watched it, and it's unreal. I had never realized that watching this movie before, that literally one of them's talking, and it's just so cold out. You know, they're bundled up in fur. It's so cold, they've got that steam coming out of their mouth, and one of them has that not at all. So, I mean, they made it very clear. I just completely missed that. This movie had a $15 million budget. They spent $1.5 million just on Rob Bottin's creature effects, which I think well worth it. You know, this movie wouldn't be the same, I don't think, without those. The acting is spectacular all around, and that really holds up as well. But the film grossed $19.6 million during its theatrical run, which is too bad, but it was competing. I think E.T. came out at the same time, and you know, it's a friendly alien versus this. People were watching E.T. Instead of this, so that really hurt this one. But I tell you today, this is considered one of John Carpenter's best works. I love the feeling of this movie. I love the look of it. It's shot super well. The cinematography is really well done. They're so good at making it, you know, you realizing how cold and claustrophobic it is for these people. Also, I mean, the score is fantastic. It's got an epic score. It's a really well done movie. So this one I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. You know, I wasn't a huge fan of The Thing from Another World. That one, you know, I always thought, you know, it being from the 1950s, it just doesn't have the special effects, it doesn't have the acting, it's black and white. You know, it's got its roots, it's a good movie. It just, to me, this one was one of the best ones done. It just, they did such a good job with this one, so I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's well worth it. It holds up to this day. I still say it's some of the best creature effects done, and I mean, these are from the early 80s, so I mean, that's unreal to say. So go see it. I appreciate you watching my video. Hit the like, subscribe button. Also, if you have any ideas for movies, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys would like me to watch and review, and I will see you on the next one.